everybody up. Is it? Yes, sir. Up lead footsteps here. Up and back down. Hana. Us. Jewel. Us. Set. Us. Net. Us. Daset. Us. Yaset. Us. Uga. Us. Yadol. Us. Ahab. Us. Yo. Us. Feet. Yes, sir. Same thing. Hana. Us. Jewel. Us. Set. Us. Net. Us. Daset. Us. Yaset. Us. Uga. Us. Yadol. Us. Ahab. Us. Yo. Us.
Page teacher yet? Come here. Okay, very good. Go back into the line. Everybody say good morning, Miss Cora.
Good morning, Miss Cora.
Okay. All right. When you guys come to clinic, you always wear a jacket. Okay? That's how I see your jacket, your uniform this way. I know it's all prepared properly. All right. Everybody have a seat.
Yes, sir.
All right. Before we get started, we're going to go over a whole bunch of different things. So let's see. Self-criticism. That's your conscience. All right? Self-criticism. When we talk to ourselves, and sometimes we're a little bit hard on ourselves, sometimes we're very happy with ourselves. Okay, this is what we call conscience. All right? Conscience, very important. Conscience is really the criticism of oneself by one's own values, habits, and personal ideals. Okay? If you, for instance, let's say you don't do good in soccer game, or if you don't do good in a baseball game, if you're over here in karate and you're kind of hard on yourself because you're not getting the technique too well. Well, that's your own criticism, right? Your criticism about you, right? Because you're not meeting your values, your habits, or your personal ideals. If you think you're better than this and you're not doing what you think you can be doing, well, then you criticize yourself. Okay? And that's important. That's self-talk. We always have self-talk. We all do it. Everybody does it. All right? So make sure you understand how this works. All right? Sometimes we're hard on ourselves. Sometimes we're happy with ourselves. Goodness. Goodness, like water, seeps to the lowest levels and rises lifting all, okay? The more it pours into the lives of those around you, it rises everyone to a newfound hope and dreams. Everybody, I think, understands what goodness is, but you need to understand what it's capable of doing. When you pour out goodness towards people, okay, to animals, doesn't make a difference. It works everywhere. What it does is it goes down to the lowest levels. It's like water, okay? You fill up a bathtub with water, you put a couple of little boats in there, and then you keep adding water, and all of a sudden those boats just come all the way up to the top, don't they? Right? Well, goodness works the same way. If you push out goodness from you to everything that's around you, that goodness works the same way that water in a bathtub works. It just starts bringing everybody that it touches up. It starts to bring the people up that are all around you. And that's something that's very important and to understand and know how to do. Because if you're not pouring this out, if you're pouring negativity out, what does that do? That just makes things go lower, right? I can't expect you to do better if I'm constantly telling you you're no good, right? Because there's going to be a point in time that you're going to believe me. If I constantly tell you you're no good and you're not doing it right, there's going to be a point in time that you're going to believe me, and then you're just going to settle for that. But if I'm out there, I can criticize you, right? Hey, what are you doing that for? You know you're better than this. Try to get you to understand that you're not working to your potential. Hey, all of you know who I am, right? I'm not the easiest guy. You don't work to your potential. I'm on top of you, right? I don't think there's anybody in here tell you that thinks I'm the easiest guy in the world as an instructor, a master instructor, teaching you. You do something wrong here, I will jump all over you. However, in the next words, I'll be praising you and trying to get you up to work as hard as you can to do the things I know you're capable of. This is important. Goodness. Push it out. Make everybody around you rise to the top, to their full potential. Life. Life is 10% of what happens to you and 90% of how you react to it. Life is life. There's a word, okay? Shit happens. There's nobody in here a little baby, all right? Things are going to happen to us. You have no choice. You're going to go through life, and you're going to walk through life, a lot of garbage is going to come your way. It doesn't make a difference what comes your way. It's how you react to it. This is what counts. How you react to it. If you don't turn it around and make it something positive and work with it and get it to work right, you're going to go off on a different direction. See this? You live, right? Life, death. Straight line right there. Doesn't work that way. Does not work that way. This is the way it works. You see all of these turns and twists and everything else? That's life. And every time it turns or twists, it's a problem. It's a problem. And you know something? This is what you're here for. You're here to learn how to use or to work with all of these problems. That's the only way you learn. When you run into a problem and you work it out and fix it, that's called experience. Now you have experience. If you think you're going to do this, live and die, this is not going to happen. This is what's going to happen. And you're going to run into a lot of problems before you get to here. But you know what? Good news is you're going to work them out. You have no choice. You either work them out or you just die on the spot. You're going to run into relationship problems, money problems, every kind of problem that you can think about, but you'll work them out. And the one thing that I know from my life, and I've lived a long time now, is that everything works out the way it's supposed to. Everything works the way it's supposed to. All you have to do is focus. If you need help with something, ask. You know, I tell the story, and you probably all heard it, about the little boy that was supposed to move the big rock outside the studio. You guys know that story? You should know that story. You're here long enough, right? He got yelled at the end of the story because he didn't use all of his power. It's in everybody's power to ask for help. You can ask for help whenever you need it. You're going to have to ask for a lot of help. Some problems are more intense than others. We all need help. Remember this. This doesn't make a difference. Things are going to happen to you. It's going to be how you react to it. That's important. Talent. You could be talented. Greatest singer in the world, okay? You could be greatest musician in the world. You can do whatever you want, and you can have all of this talent. But you know what? Here's what happens. Talent will get you in the door, right? People will watch you and look at you. Talent, right? Because they're always looking for talent. Your character, who you are, everything that makes you up, your code, what you live by, how you treat people, how you act, that'll keep you in the room. You could have this talent and they'll throw you out anyway. It doesn't make a difference. If people can't stand to be around you, what are they going to be around you for? They're just going to get rid of you. You get it? If you're the type, if your character is good, if you're the type of person that you don't lie, you tell the truth, your word is good, right? You live by a code, you dress properly, right? Your hygiene is good. Can you imagine having the greatest singer in the world walk into your room and they smell? Are you going to hire them? If they smell and their hygiene is not good, what good is that? Right? You're going to put them in front of people? I don't think so. All right. How to tell someone or something is alive. Whenever a thing becomes less and in time restores itself to its majestic self, life exists. How do you tell something is alive? You think that's an easy thing to do? Not so easy to do. Well, you know, you could maybe a person, right? Person laying on the floor, you kick them, they move, they're alive, right? Animals, maybe you move them, they get up and they run, they're alive. But there's so many different things on this planet. There are trees, there's flowers, plant life, bugs, all kinds of things. I mean, you might have to take this to a laboratory and under a microscope kind of run some of these experiments to see if there's life. This planet, the earth, the world, is it alive? Come on, answer me, yes or no?
Yes, sir.
It is alive. You see these hurricanes that you get? That's the earth cleaning itself up. Cleaning day for the world. It gets rid of all of the dead stuff laying around, right? It gets rid of all of the problems in the air and on the ground, on the earth, and it cleans itself up. Hurricanes, tornadoes. It's just like your mom in the kitchen. Moms have mops, right? They have scrapers. They have a whole bunch of different things to clean the house. Well, the world has a whole bunch of things to clean itself. A hurricane comes and it takes out a whole town. That's a tragedy, right? Look at all of these people. Look at the fires. Look at the fires in California. Wiped out the whole town of Paradise. You would think with the name Paradise it wouldn't have touched it, right? Cleaned it right out. It's the world. The world needs to clean itself. So that forest in where Paradise was needed to be cleaned. There was so much dead stuff, otherwise the fire couldn't have existed, right? There had to be so much dead trees and stuff on the ground that it was rotting, and the fires just burned everything. Now, if that dead stuff wasn't on the ground and somebody was in there taking care of the trees, it would have probably never happened. However, it did happen. It becomes a tragedy. The earth itself is going to maintain itself and keep itself healthy. You can't do anything about that. That's what's going to happen. It only becomes a tragedy when people are in the way. Hurricanes, tornadoes, earthquakes happen every single day all over the world. If there's nobody in its path, it's just house cleaning. If there are people in its path, it's a tragedy. Does everybody understand how it works? Okay. I don't want to talk anymore about California's problems. All right. How to tell something's alive. Whenever a thing, right, like the earth, becomes less. When you create a dirty world, a world that is polluted, the world's going to take action. And the planet's going to take action, and it's going to clean itself up. And if you're in its way, guess what's going to happen to you? You know what's going to happen to you? Tell me.
You'll die.
Yeah, you're going to get picked up and sent to Oz. You ever watch The Wizard of Oz?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, what happened to those people, right? Right up into Oz. Now, cheerfulness and gladness, all the rewards of deeds well done. You can't be cheerful or happy unless you've done something, right? You have to do something in order to be happy and cheerful. You get 100 on a test, you're happy, right? Go out and play ball, you get a home run, you're happy. Before you got the home run or before you got the A on the test, were you happy or you were just regular? You were just regular, right? So you can't be cheerful or have gladness or happiness unless you do something well, right? Because that doing makes you feel strong, it makes you feel happy, it makes you feel glad, it gives you a sense of pride in what you're doing. Anybody walking around and is happy and glad and they're not doing anything, they're crazy people. going to be walking around and being happy and glad. You ever see somebody that's really happy? What do you do when you're in that game and you knock out a home run, right? I see people jumping like this. Whoa! You all do it. You're dancing, right? You do something good. I see her do it all the time. She does something good in karate. She goes, you know, and they all do it. But that's because you did something great. Now, if you were walking around and you were just going like this all of the time, we would say you're crazy, right? Weird kids. All right, now, trust. Like an eraser, it gets smaller and smaller at every mistake. You make a mistake and lie to your parents, all of a sudden the trust goes down. If your word is no good, you're no good. And you've heard me say this a million times. Trust is very important. Somebody tells you something, right? You like to count on them, right, for doing the right thing. If they come over, mom or dad come over and tell you that they're going to do something, wouldn't it be great if they did what they said? If all of a sudden it doesn't happen, how is that going to make you feel? Okay? So trust is important, right? It's like that eraser, right? You keep making mistakes and you don't keep your word, or, you know, all of a sudden you're sneaking or stealing or cursing, all of the things that you know are not what your parents would expect from you, or if you had to tell your parents, you know that they wouldn't be proud of you, that trust goes down. And believe me, you don't want to live with loved ones that don't trust you. It's not very good. Okay, Ms. Rotullo,
Sir.
you're going to get them up, and let's knock out their form first, please.
Okay, everybody standing up.
Yes, ma'am.
Turn around, fix your dough box, fix your D, shake out your legs.